And you know, guys, there is just a lot of bad advice out there in general. Like, I saw this story today about why you should use a HELOC to pay down your credit card debt. I mean, just the headline of that story makes me sick to my stomach because people read that and they fall for it. And they look at, hey man, I got like 20 grand in credit card debt, but on the other hand, I have $150,000 in available equity to borrow on my house. Maybe this is a good idea. And they read stuff like this and then they do it. And then they attach their house to their debt problems and make it so that if they cannot pay, then they end up losing the house. How fun is that? Here's some of the reasons they give of why you should do this. Interest rates are 3 times lower on HELOCs than they are on credit cards. The average HELOC rate is 7.84%, and the average credit card rate is around 22%. So a HELOC is much cheaper, and therefore you're going to pay less interest on that same amount of debt. And so because you're going to pay less money back by doing this, they say that's why it's a good idea. Now, in theory, just by looking at your cost basis of the debt, it is a good idea. But the part that they fail to mention here is that you are attaching your debt to your home now. And if you can't pay it, they're going to foreclose on you. They're going to take your house. The second reason they give of why you should do this is because the rate cuts that the Fed is going to be doing is not going to have an equal impact on both products. They claim that credit card rates are still at near record highs, but HELOC rates have dropped about 2 full percentage points since the first rate cut that we had back in September of 2024. And even though that might be true as well, it is still not a great reason to attach your debt to losing your house, guys. If you don't pay your credit card bills, the worst that's going to happen is your credit score is going to tank and they're going to send you to collections and you might get some annoying phone calls and it might be hard to get other types of loans. But you're not going to have to worry about having a place to live. But if you attach that debt to your house and then something happens and you cannot pay, well, now they can take your house. And in some states, along with the house goes all of the equity you have built up in the house as well, which I know is criminal, but it happens more often than you might think. And the last reason they give of why this is a good idea is you'll have the flexibility to adjust your payoff approach. With a home equity line of credit, you only have to pay for the amount you utilize and not the full line of credit that you've been approved for. And even then, the full payment won't be mandated for multiple years, as many lenders will expect interest-only payments to be made on the HELOC during the initial draw period. This is another scam that they got going on with this. You know, it makes it look very cheap to borrow this equity out of your home, and it makes you delay your full debt responsibility that you have to pay because you're only paying the interest up front. You pay back the principal years later on. Maybe years later once you've bought the new car. Maybe years later once you're paying for your kids to go to college and now all of a sudden you have even more to pay for. That's the kind of trick that they don't tell you about. It's kind of like people that got the mortgage rate buy downs from home builders over the past few years, and now they're seeing their payments go up to the full amount that they would have had to pay if they never got that mortgage rate buy down. And many people can no longer afford their house payment because of it, even though they were able to qualify for that loan in the beginning. Lifestyle inflation creeps in and people spend more money. When you have more money to spend, in general, people will just spend more. And once the full payment is due, suddenly the budget is no longer there to make those payments. And that's the same thing that happens to a lot of HELOC borrowers. In fact, I just saw a property in Tiburon that's in foreclosure, and just by the condition of the property, you can tell it's in original condition. Probably a very old couple lives there, and their property tax bill is only $1,900 a year. Clearly, they're not losing their house due to property taxes, thanks to Prop 13 here in California. Most likely, they are losing their house due to borrowing money against it, and they cannot afford to pay that money back. And so now, probably somebody in their 80s is losing their house to foreclosure, guys. But you see stories like this constantly because in this article, they have many links promoting ways that you can sign up for these home equity line of credit products, and they get a commission if you sign up for it. And in case you haven't noticed, I never promote stuff like this on my channel, guys, because I don't believe people should be signing up for things like this. Can they be a valuable tool under the right circumstances? Sure. Is it something that most people should do? Absolutely not. And because I know, based on all the data we go over on this channel, that consumer spending habits are not great, I don't think it's a good thing to promote. So let me know what you guys think about all this. Let me know if you're interested in buying a house anytime soon. In case you are, don't forget I have a link for that down in the description below. You can use one of my agents 100% for free. If you do, it not only helps you, but it helps the channel, and I appreciate it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.